Okay, so I know that we've had some fun today using dark humor to help me process my father wound. Now, I love using humor. There's nothing wrong with using humor. Here's the thing though. Any space that I'm in, I want to be proof of healing. And if I'm being really funny and just showing you the humorous side of my father wound, then we're not getting to the guts, the gold of how I transformed that pain into purpose. That sounds so cliche. And what truly happens in how I work and show up in the world and heal myself and help others heal is by transmuting, alchemizing, changing that pain into something useful for me, my work, teaching others how to heal. So now that we've established that, I want to be real and honest with you about my father wound. And the reason I want to be real and honest about it is because it is something that I'm working on really hard right now. It is something that I don't necessarily see eye to eye with a lot of my family on. So there's not a lot of camaraderie or ability to process this together. It's kind of fractured. I can't process it with my dad at all. He's not available for really talking about any of this. And when he is, it's not, I'm just going to say it, it's not the truth. To this day, almost 10 years later, I still don't know how they met. So when I say it's a wound, it was a gaping hole that I used many Band-Aids over the years to cover. Because my wound with him did not begin in 2018. My wound with my dad began when I was very, very young. 8-ish, 9-ish, when I found out by eavesdropping on my parents that he'd been unfaithful. So I don't want to go into all of that too much because part of that is my mom's story too. And my mom and I are best friends, and I don't want to further injure her wound. Now, to tell my story without telling that really important piece, I couldn't honestly tell my story. So I know that my mom will respect where I landed with that part of the story. And maybe once I can talk to her a little bit more and just make sure she's okay with this part of it, then we can talk more about it. The part I want to talk about that I've done a lot of work on transmuting, changing it from a wound that my dad inflicted on me into just something that is a part of life that I have to accept. People grow, people change. And what I've had to learn is sometimes we have to grieve people that are still alive. Does that make sense? We have to grieve people that are still alive, because if we hold on to the hope or the expectation that they can come back and be the daddy you once knew, or this goes both ways, that I can come back and be the wounded little girl he once knew. I don't show up that way anymore. I don't show up as my dad's drinking buddy, getting obliterated, showing off. I don't do all that anymore. So I can see how it may be kind of hard to relate to me, because I'm not his drinking buddy. I haven't been for almost 5 years. I don't want to villainize him. And I don't want to keep it inside of me anymore either. I want to be on this journey of authenticity, of telling my truth. So here's my truth. I have been working on this diligently, healing this wound for almost a year. And there have been a lot of tears, a lot of conversations, a lot of processing, a lot of boundary setting, a lot of trying to figure out where the olive branch even goes. And I've landed in a place of surrender, acceptance, and forgiveness. I still have to grieve and mourn the relationship that I had between me and my father. Even though he's alive, and I see him a couple times a year, we will never have that relationship again, because we don't know each other without the alcohol. We don't know each other without the stories. So I can't beg for truth, and I'm no longer available for wondering how else I can show up for him. So while I grieve a man who is still alive, I love my father. And I hope that there comes a day that between my healing and his own journey, whatever that looks like, that we can meet in the middle someday. I may still try to tell you funny stories, because there's a lot of funny stuff that goes on in our family. And I felt also, need my animal, hang on, is important to tell you my truth, is that it's still a wound that I'm working on surrendering, healing, setting down. And I'm happy to share all the ways that I do that with all my wounds.